Hello everyone, welcome to the Jagrati Yatra Meet the Yatripreneur Google Hangout series. My name is Anant Krishna. I will be the moderator today for this discussion. You can ask your questions with the Q&A tab which is on your top left hand side, and I can read it out when the time comes after my questions to today's guest. If you would like to be featured in these series, please do drop a note to our producer Ashwin Yogesh. His email is ashwinyogesh@gmail.com. Today we get in the world of smartphones, apps, and games. And our Yatripreneur is Manas Gajare, and he has founded Zabuza Labs. Manas, welcome to Meet the Yatripreneur.
Yeah. Hello, Anand.
Hi. Give us an introduction to Zabuza Labs.
Okay, so we develop mobile games. We are based in Nasik, and till now we have developed about 300 to 350 mobile apps, 15 plus games. Our core focus is mobile games, casual mobile games.
And what is the size of your team?
So we are 13 people team right now.
And when you say mobile games, do you make it for all mobiles, or is it any specific kind of mobile?
Yeah. At the moment, our games are only on Android. But soon we'll be porting our old games and the new games as well on iOS and Windows platform.
Okay, and you said you have 300 games, so we can't probably talk about all of them. But can you give us a flavor of the kind of games that you have?
No, so there are about 300 to 350 apps we developed and 15 plus games.
Okay.
So this is what happened. We developed a lot of apps, and one day we said, let's do something else. Let's do gaming, and that's how we got into gaming. And the first game which we developed was the Balloon Bow and Arrow, which, as you know, it clicked. And since then, we focused our attention on games, especially.
Right. So you started with apps that you did for somebody else, or were they all your apps that you did based on idea?
Our own ideas, product based.
What is your background, Manas?
So I did computer engineering from Sardar Patel College, Mumbai. I passed in 2009, and after that I moved back to Nasik. So while I was running the company, I sought admission to MSc Mathematics course because I was always interested in mathematics. It was a pure mathematics. So that I cleared in 2012. So I did that in my past time.
And then how did you get into your app development? Did you just start suddenly after the masters, or did you seek a job, or you're doing it on the side?
No, so this is my second company. The first company which I founded was during my engineering days. So that I started with partners in third year of engineering. And we worked for that for say two to 3 years. It was mainly into software services. We used to develop, we used to take requirements from clients and make software for them. It wasn't really going anywhere. So after a few years, we parted our ways and went separate ways. And that's when Zabuza Labs happened.
And what does Zabuza mean? I mean, it's such an odd name. Is there anything meaning to it?
Zabuza is a Japanese name. I'm not sure, you might have heard Naruto anime. Naruto is a Japanese anime. So there is a character named Zabuza. So I was looking for something from Z and something funny, and Zabuza, it struck me as a funny name. So we went forward with it. It's a Japanese name.
Funny. So and your website also, which is very a bit different than the usual websites. That's zabuzalabs.com, right? That's a website.
Yes.
So what is the, just like a couple of sentences, why did you design your website that way?
Well, didn't have much time and wanted to get something up on the internet. So we made that one page website. We are changing it, of course, but then for the time being, we kept it that way. And just to add that interactivity touch, we made it movable, so you can move the text.
Yeah, it's a very interesting website. I haven't seen anything like that anywhere else. So back to gaming. Can you give us a landscape of what gaming is? Like, a lot of people might be new to it. Some people might have played. Can you give us what is the landscape in gaming in India and abroad?
What exactly do you mean by landscape?
Landscape is like, what kind of games there are, what is the, what are the different platforms, just a basic intro to, this sector.
All right. So if we stick to India, then as we all know, Android is almost ubiquitous in India. So for games that people play on Android, most of them are casual games. In casual games, there are different categories like platformer, endless running, action, puzzle games, etc. So there are about a million apps or games, a million apps on both platforms, on iOS and iOS and Android. Almost 50% of apps are games. So it's okay to say that there are at least 500,000 games on each platform, iOS and Android.
Right. Right. You
Also,
mentioned a couple
comparing
of
in
things. Yeah, go
gender-wise,
ahead.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
about more than 50% of mobile game players are women. So
Uh-huh.
probably 55% are women and about 45% are men. That's the
I see.
proportion.
I see. And are you also getting a split on what gender, I'm sorry, what age group are these women and what age group are these men?
Age group is it's from 10 to 60, 70. So most of
Wow.
the users are teenagers and 10 to 30 age group for our games. But
Uh-huh.
usually it's all age group.
And what is the sense geographically? I mean, are you seeing India has, I mean, I'm assuming India has the most downloads and, anything you can share about that?
As far as we are concerning with casual games, US is still number one, and after US, it's probably Brazil,
Uh-huh.
which has largest playing casual gamers.
Right.
India is probably top 10 in casual gamers in mobile.
And for your
So
game,
roughly
Balloon,
3%.
yeah, yeah, and your game, Balloon Bow and Arrow, India is number one, followed by.
It was ranked on number one by Google's top free games. So Google has this list: top free apps, top free games. It
Right.
changes on daily. It changes daily, and it is country specific. So
Acha.
we were ranked number one by Google for 10 days
Right.
straight, and you could
Right.
actually see our game as number one, Angry Birds as number two, and Temple Run as number three for a few days
Right.
in India.
Right. Right. You mentioned briefly that there are free games, of course, and there are paid games. And
Hmm.
why? Tell me a little bit of why you would make it a free game versus a paid game.
Okay, so now we are mainly into Android. So let's talk from that perspective.
Uh
On
huh.
Android, its overall psychology is overall people prefer free stuff because it's an open platform and you can customize it and there are a lot of things you get for free. So that's in a sense it's a habit of the people compared to iOS. So
Right.
that is one reason. But another monetization platform that's coming up is virtual goods, which we'll probably talk later on.
Uh huh.
So on Android, the freemium model works best. If you want to go free, your game has to have superb quality and which requires a lot of resources in terms
Right.
of people, time, and money.
Right. But so if you go to like so you have kept it free and you
Yes.
have tried to make money either through advertising or through another means, right? Can you talk about these two means and how you actually get revenue out of this?
Okay. So our main revenue source is advertising at the moment,
Uh-huh.
and it's common on all free applications or games that you'll see. So you can see small ads, then you can sometimes see full page ads, even video ads at the moment. So
Okay.
these are the major advertising revenue, major revenue source.
Right.
Another area which is coming up is in-app purchases. So
Uh-huh.
a game which has coin virtual currency implemented inside it, you can purchase coins by giving say $1. You can get 5,000 coins by trading $1 say,
Uh-huh.
and you can exchange that coins to get new power-ups. So that
Right.
is known as virtual goods or virtual currency. That's coming up. We have kept in Balloon Bow and Arrow, but we haven't really seen much of the downloads in terms of virtual currency. Mostly
Uh-huh.
because our users are from India. Almost 70 to 80% of our users of Balloon Bow and Arrow are from India, and there's a credit card issue, and even people still are not very familiar with credit card payments online.
Right.
So we are not seeing much of the downloads in terms of
But just
that.
to take a step back on what you said, when you say like you have a game Balloon Boy and Arrow,
Hmm.
in the app inside, I can buy extra things to make the game a little more exciting and a little more
Yes.
powerful, right? And I
Yes.
pay for those things. That's what you
Yeah.
mean by
Yes.
in-app
Right.
purchases. And in your
Right.
case, I can buy a chakra. Like I was playing it, I can buy a chakra and I can buy some other kind of things or different
Yes.
kinds of
Right.
themes and different kind of arrows and all that, right?
Right. True. True.
Right. And I have to pay for this through credit card right inside the game itself, or how does that work?
So it works like this. So for our game, it works like this. So there are balloons as coins hanging to the balloons.
Uh huh.
You pop the balloon, you get coins. So
Right.
you have your virtual coins as well. Say you have got 1,000 coins, and you can use these 1,000 coins to purchase different power.
Right.
But if you don't want to get so to unlock all the powers, you need say 10,000 coins. You don't want to
Right.
play that long. So what you
Right.
do, you pay $2 and you get 10,000 coins instead of collecting the coins by popping out the balloons. So
Right.
if you are impatient and if you want quick if you want to unlock them quickly, then you go for purchase.
I see.
Otherwise,
And
you
what
can do
is
that by popping the balloons as well.
and you have experience now at least a couple of years in seeing how people are making their purchases, what is
Hmm.
the psychology? I mean, when you say the game is free in India, do people in India don't want to pay for games? Is that what it is?
They do mostly on iOS. On Android,
Uh-huh.
it's still low.
Low. And what is the psychology that you follow when you want to price, say, like in-app purchases? Like how? What is the psychology you follow?
Well, we go for 99 or 149 or 199 instead of
Okay,
$1 or 1.5, just a
acha.
cent less.
And
But
you
we haven't really tried a lot in that because we are still experimenting with in-app purchases.
is this pretty complex to do, or is it pretty straightforward?
No, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay. All right. Well, let's take another couple of more steps back and let's go back to ideation. How do you design a new game? I mean, what is the process you follow?
All right. So the first step is brainstorming. To get an idea, we brainstorm. We just toss off different ideas to each other. If we click any one idea, we find it very good. Then we work on it. So we do little bit detailing in that. So we design the game on paper. If it's a character-based game, then what kind of character should be, or where should be the controls, what should be the power, coins, the strategy for coins and everything. So that you design on
Right.
paper. That's called as game designing. Game designing is
Uh-huh.
one of the most important part in the whole cycle.
Uh-huh.
You can do it in the brain as well, but you have to do it on paper to communicate it to everybody.
Right.
After designing the game on paper, there are two parts. One is the graphics team and another is the development team. So
Uh-huh.
both of them work simultaneously. So
Right.
you actually start coding, you work on physics because most of the games need physics, gravity, force, pressure. There are different gaming engines for that. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel if you reinvent the wheel if you want to use physics effects like collision and force. And simultaneously, the graphic teams makes characters and backgrounds and illustrations.
Right.
And at the latter stage, you integrate both of them in the game, and
Uh-huh.
there is a publishing as the last stage.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So
And
for
then
the
once you
public,
publish it, does Google certify it? Is there a certification process from these platforms?
Google has no checks for uploading the app. So once you get Google account, Google developer account, you can launch as many apps as you want to do
I see.
on
And what is
Android.
the profile of your team? I mean, when you talked about graphics, you talked about animation, you talked about physics. So do you have a
Hmm.
scientist? Or I mean, I'll explain what is the structure of your team?
No, so most of us are developers. We have got two artists and two interns from game designing. Physics
Uh-huh.
is it's um, acute observation and trial and error and testing it with different people. Take their feedback when you are developing the game.
Right. And I also see that you have music in your app.
Pardon?
You have music in your app.
Yes, music. Yeah, music is another segment in the game. For now, we use royalty-free music.
Okay. And where do you get that music?
So there are a lot of different sites which allow you to use their music for free, or you have to pay a minimum amount to use the tracks inside your game. But
I
for
see.
that you have to listen a lot. For Balloon Burner, I literally listen to say 400 to 500 different sounds to get good sound effects.
And just a question going back a little bit about Zabuza Labs. What is the legal structure? Are you a sole proprietor? Are you like a private limited now?
It's proprietorship.
Oh, I see. Great. So Manas, looking ahead, there's this whole thing about apps or
Hello.
website, websites. Are you hearing me,
Pardon?
Manas?
I didn't get it. I didn't get you.
Right. So this whole thing about, different size phones and there is different platforms. You
Hmm.
said you focus for Android. How do you make sure that your game is available on each platform and different device sizes? What is your strategy there?
So now we started using Unity, and Unity is a cross-platform engine.
Uh-huh.
It's a different tool. It's based on C Sharp and JavaScript, C Sharp or JavaScript, any language you can use. So once you develop a game on, say, Unity, which is a cross-platform, you can port it on all different platforms like iOS, Android, Windows, even desktop, web. And if you purchase the license, you can also do that for PlayStation and Xbox. So there are many different engines like Unity which support cross-platforms, and Unity tops the list. We started using Unity 2 months back, so we are building expertise on Unity right now.
Right. Manas, I'm also reading a review of Balloon Bow and Arrow. People say that there are too many ads, but I guess you don't have a choice, right? That is your revenue model, right? So how do
Yes.
you? I mean, how do you make sure that you don't bombard the game with ads,
Well,
and at the same time?
that's a judgment call that you have to take. When the game was
Uh-huh,
number one, we didn't put a single ad inside the app, and
uh-huh.
later on we did put a few. There are always some people who will always say that there are a lot of ads, but then that's what, as in, that's your gut instinct. You have to go forward with it because you have to
Right.
survive as well. So
Exactly.
it's a
Yeah,
judgment call.
exactly.
You don't
Right.
do overdo it. You keep it balanced. People
Gotcha.
understand.
But that is the revenue model, right? Right now, at the point, right? Till
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I can
Um,
share a few success stories. You might have heard about Flappy Birds, right?
yes.
So Flappy Birds, it was like millions of downloads, and the game used to earn about $50,000 per day, only
Right.
through ads.
Right.
There was no in-app purchases.
Uh-huh.
Compare that to Candy Crush. Candy Crush developed by King. The game is
Right.
free. There is not a single ad, and the game earns about more than $1 million per day. It's through
Right.
virtual goods.
So virtual goods is not taking off in India yet, right? But you do see a future ahead, right? As
Yes,
people get more credit
definitely.
cards and all
That's
that.
the way to go forward.
Right. And since you're going to expand to iOS, I'm assuming that you'll get more kind of that people that will invest in those goods, right?
Right, right.
Right, right, right. So tell us a bit of future plans. Where do you see, Zabuza Labs going with the games? I mean, do you plan to release a game a year or a year, month, or how do you look ahead?
No, so right now we make about 4 5 games per month. We want to reduce the cycle of
Right,
the frequency of making games.
right.
We are making casual, entertaining games. Apart
Uh-huh.
from that, we want to do games for social cause. So we are
Right.
developing this game, Save Trees, Save Nature, where the aim is to save the tree, and
Uh-huh.
we'll be trying to with different NGOs to drive that cause. So games
Okay.
for cause is one genre in which we want to cater, and other is art-based game and education-based games. So
Right.
the plans are there. Basically, we want to make games that people will truly enjoy. That's it.
Right. And you don't plan to sell your company and run off to something else, do you? You want to keep it to
Actually, I haven't really thought that far.
right. You're having fun.
Yeah, yes, of course.
Right.
We are
Right.
developing games.
Right.
What better you would
Is
ask?
Siddharth? Yeah, of course. Is Siddharth still there? Siddharth, you have a question. Are you around? Okay, I'm going to jump to Bipin Bakle. Bipin, do you want to ask a question? So I'm going to ask Bipin's question. He's asking Manas, who's your role model? Who are the people you
Okay,
look up to?
so I would call this as people who inspire me, and there are many of them, but limiting them to techno circle, it's Elon Musk, Tesla founder,
That's that.
the
Yep.
Google's founders, and Jeff Bezos, Google's founder, Larry Saji, Jeff Bezos by Amazon. So these people, I'm inspired by their vision, their grand vision, and the size of the change that they are driving in the society. So these are a few, as in there are a lot many, but let's keep it for a few for the moment.
Right. And what is your ultimate aim in life is the second question.
Well, I think we should get into that in some another part because
Right.
it
There you
could
go.
go to
Yeah.
another side. Yeah.
But you could talk about your Rubik cube. I mean, you were a Rubik cube. I mean,
Yes.
give that
Yes.
one sentence. What was the Rubik cube thing?
Well, you have 6 colors on the cube, and the
Uh-huh.
aim is to match all the colors on all the cycle on
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
I know that. But what did you
pieces.
achieve with it? What did you achieve with it?
No, so achievement is that it's just international ranking that I have got. So I had participated in international competition and I got their rankings on their world cubing
Oh, awesome, man.
website
Awesome,
like this.
awesome.
And another thing which I would like to add is, so we are very conscious on the culture in the company,
Uh-huh.
and as I am passionate about Rubik's cube,
Uh-huh.
almost everybody, like 90% out of 13,
Hey, what
almost
happened?
11% people from our team can solve Rubik's cube, and soon
Wow.
you'll also find their scores online as well. So most of the people can solve it in within 2 minutes, and I taught them in 2 months back.
Is that a question?
That's a part of culture. That's a part of culture.
But is that a question you ask in the interview process? If I want to apply to Zabuza Labs, is that something that I need to do?
No, so the next technical interview I'll take, I'll be giving the cube to a person, and I'll give them 2 hours to solve it.
Right.
Use any means, use internet, use YouTube, anything that you want to do, just solve it in 2 minutes. Sorry, 2 hours.
Right.
And
well, they'll be watching.
It's a good way to check your ability.
Well, they'll watch this and come prepared. All right, I'm gonna ask another question. Siddharth, are you there? Siddharth Chandrasekhar, are you there? Siddharth, do you want to ask your question? Okay, Rehana Razak is asking your question. Her audio is not working. She's saying, wonderful work that you've been doing. Are you planning to expand to other sectors, like making apps for anything else apart from gaming? I think you've...
All right. Yeah, so there is another app category that we are working on. It's a city-based app. I can't go into a lot of details, but then essentially we want to make different apps for different cities, catering to different needs. When the first version is launched, I'll probably tap into JY network to collaborate with different people in different cities.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Ashwin, you had a question. Go ahead.
Siddharth,
Siddharth, go ahead.
So, Manas, I have this question. That is, in terms of funding for, or let's say you're creating a game, how do you plan for maybe how much you want to kind of fund for the game? How much money goes into a game?
Good question. Good question.
Well, it depends on say a few things. Like one is of course your gut instinct. Another is the experience. As in, depending on your experience, you might have idea as to how much downloads probably you will get from the game. So the wise approach is always to make a small version, alpha version, launch it on the market, see users' response, and depending on that, you invest in the game. So that's the model that you have to take if you have limited resources, of course.
Sure. Thanks.
Ashwin, you want to ask a question?
Yeah. Am I audible here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Manas, I want to know if an individual can be a game developer. So see, an individual should be both a designer as well as a developer. He should have both the skills to bring out a product.
It depends on the game. If the game is very simple and not a lot of graphics involved, of course you can do single-handedly as well. Or if you need graphics, you can outsource it anytime.
Right. Have you done any apps single-handedly, especially apps? Any games?
Any games?
Yeah.
No, I didn't get your question exactly.
Have you done any games single-handedly without a team working with you?
No, it's always been a team effort at our side.
Okay. Okay, but it is possible, right? There are
yes. There are many people who do that just so.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions? Anybody? Any other questions?
I have one. Anand, I have Siddharth. I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of this whole thing about developing games as a hobby, how I mean, how much of a supplemental income can you probably think of? Because a lot of people tend to say, I want to probably code games for supplemental income as a hobby along with the main job. So how, I mean, good is it? How feasible? How advisable?
I would suggest to look at it as just a passion project, not from earning perspective, at least at the start, because it's very dynamic field. You never know which game is going to click and which is going to fail. So till you try at least a few of games, you won't really know for sure. So just not to get disappointed, I think it's always better to start it as just because you like to do it, you enjoy doing that. That should be your primary motive to start with if that's your side project. If you are thinking it from business perspective, then probably you can look into that.
Yeah,
Hello.
All right, Manas, how are people going to get to contact you if they're interested in either working with you? Or what are your contact, addresses?
Yeah, on Facebook or on website as well. Website there is an email ID, and on Facebook you can just search as Manas Gajare or Zabuza Labs on Facebook or Google, and contact me from there.
Well, I'm going to end it, Manas, on that note. Thank you so much. Okay. We wish Zabuza Labs the best. We'll be ending the recording here, but if you want to hang out, I think people can ask questions, maybe for another 5 or 10 minutes.
All right.
Thank you so much. Yaro chalo.
Yes. Yeah.